Anderson. I'm the Sarasota County Transportation Department Director and County Engineer. We're really happy to have everybody here tonight. A little more turnout than I thought there was going to be, but I'm not on social media, so I guess that's where everybody aggregates these days. So tonight is a meeting of the East Manasota Beach Road Extension 90% Design Workshop. So this is a point in the design where we're looking to finalize some of the finer things of the project in order to get to the final design and then ultimately finish our permits and get to construction. So the outline of the meeting tonight, we start project staff introductions. Introduce myself. Over here we have Jared Zeck and Chris Wilhoit and Liz Early. They're with Stantec Engineering, who are doing the engineering and permitting of the project. Also Paula Wiggins, she's the interim senior transportation manager for Sarasota County. She was a coworker of mine, and that's a project team that's here tonight. The room orientation, as you see it, we've got project staff at the front. This is the spot where everybody will speak if you come up and you're called for open to the public session. And then we've got a timer on the clock. We'll talk about the schedule real quick. So we've done the first thing. We've got a brief presentation of the 90% design that we'll give until about 6:50. Then 6:50 to 7:40, we'll have about 50 minutes of public speaking period. This is not going to be like a regular commission meeting. This is not a regular commission meeting. This is a project information meeting. And so we know that everybody here is extremely interested, maybe a little concerned about the project and how things are going, about how it started, other things about Keyway Road. But we're really focused on the 90% design tonight. You can get up here and talk about whatever you want. The constructive things that we're looking to hear are about the project design and any questions you may have. So when you come speak, we're going to let everyone speak for a maximum of 3 minutes. We're not going to answer questions at that time. We're going to write your questions down, and then at the end of the meeting, we'll answer those questions. It'll just be very more efficient. It works, because that's what they do at the board meetings every time, and it seems to work pretty effectively. So we'll take all of the comments, and we'll write down questions and answer them the last 20 minutes of the meeting, and then close the meeting. Okay, so that's the format for tonight. If you do want to speak, we have about 27 speakers right now. If everybody takes 3 minutes, we won't get to all 27 of those. But generally, people, we take a few minutes, couple minutes, and we'll get to more than the maximum of speakers for about 15 minutes. Okay, and then we'll adjourn the meeting, and there will still be the boards up outside. We are limited on time tonight, because the facility will be shutting down after a while. We know everybody's had a long day. We really appreciate your participation tonight, and we'll get moving on the presentation. I'll do a few slides to start off with. This is just a general overview of what we're going to be doing. I'll do the first few slides, and then Jared with Stantec will pick up after that. So, East Manasota Beach Road Extension, this is the core of the project where a new road will be built. You'll see there are 3 different cross sections or profiles of the roadway as you move from west to east. The orange section is the typical 2-lane divided, where you've got 2 lanes of road and 11-foot vert on one side, lighting, and you're divided in the median, and you'll have landscaping, typical landscaping for a county road. And then on the blue segment in between, that's adjacent to Sarasota National. The difference between the typical 2-lane and the Sarasota National is that you have a wider area on the north side of the road than you do on the other side. That's to give a more buffer and also account for a lot of the stormwater needs within that area. And there will be additional vegetation along that portion as well. And then on the piece that's east of that, you continue the typical 2-lane segment, and then there's a narrower spot between 2 power poles at FPL. In order to fit the trail in and the 2 lanes, we had to take the divided portion out. And that will then tie in at the unincorporated county line and the city of Northport line, where West Villages is building the other piece of the road. They've already built a considerable amount from River Road to west of Prado. Then they'll connect that piece into where the county is building to the county line, right under the power lines. So then that will connect the roadway up from River Road all the way west. The existing section of road of East Manasota Beach Road will remain 2 lanes. There's very little we're doing in the existing paved section of the road from Coastal Blue West. We're doing some curb on the south side. There isn't enough room to do a wider sidewalk in that area. And then at 776, we will be doing some curbing to kind of make that intersection look a little better than it does today. And then Jared will talk a little bit more about the details. I'll probably talk too much about that. Okay, future right of way. The property that the road is going on was purchased by the county in 2018. It was purchased by the WCI communities and Sarasota National Community. At that time, it was reserved, I believe, in the planning process for the community of Sarasota National, but it was transferred and purchased by the county in 2018. All of the documentation that we have is pretty clear on what that is, and we have those documents. If anybody needs a copy of them, please don't hesitate to let us know. Now, this is the right-of-way that was conveyed in that purchase. There's a lot more than just the Manasota Beach Road future right-of-way. It's all county property right now. The right-of-way will actually be dedicated once the road is constructed. We'll have a right-of-way map that gets issued when the road is actually built. So the green are Manasota Beach Road that runs from west to east, and then that north to south piece is actually Venice East Boulevard. And that's been built to just that area off the page is where that cul-de-sac ends. And that's the future extension of Venice East Boulevard. The alignment has changed since we purchased this in 2018, the piece south of Manasota Beach Road. So that will have to be amended in the future. And then the blue pieces are the stormwater ponds that will be associated with both of these roadways. And there will be other stormwater facilities, but those are the ones that were purchased in 2018. This was incorporated into the county capital improvement program on August 27th. This is when the board approved the project moving forward. There was a process that was administered through state statute. It's a public-private partnership. It's actually a public-private cooperation is what the statute that was followed for this roadway. It went through that process. On August 27th, the county had a public hearing and approved this project to be added. It's a $15 million project to build this segment of road and the minor improvements to the existing 6/10 of a mile. And that's the contract number. The funding is shown there. I kind of blew that piece up. It's $15 million, and you've got about another $250,000 for county administrative costs that go into that. The funding for this project is out of what we call impact fees or mobility fees. There is an allocation of money that gets done through development. Each certificate of occupancy that's issued to the county has a fee that goes on top of it to pay for the projected impact of that building on the transportation network. So we collect those fees, and then we allocate those to larger transportation projects. And so that funding source was used to fund this project. There had been some conversation about we took money from River Road in order to put it on this project. That's not technically correct, but that was a funding source that was available to fund the future River Road construction. It was not allocated to River Road, but it was a funding source that could have been used to fund the River Road construction. That was made clear on August 27th in my presentation then. Okay, here's Jared. He's going to go through the rest of the presentation, then we'll get into the open to the public session.
I have a question. Who's sitting up here?
That's reserved for open to the public, but if you want to sit there for now, you can. And then once we start the open to the public, I'll ask you to get up for this thing.
Okay, this question.
Yep.
Thank you. Again, my name is Jared Deck. I'm a civil engineer. I work for Stan Tech Consulting Services. I'm here today to discuss a little more about the design. Spencer actually went into great detail. Thank you, Spencer. I appreciate that. I'm going to just detail it a little bit more for you. So first here, this slide, it shows the sections in which we presented back in August. I wanted to reiterate what those contained quickly. So the first one is the FPL section. That's that little green portion that we saw at the beginning. Spencer iterated that we've reduced and removed the median from this portion to navigate around an existing FPL transmission pole. It includes 11-foot travel lanes, a 12-foot shared use path on both sides, a closed drainage system, 30-foot high streetlights, and again, avoids the transmission pole. Then the open space, which is the blue portion. This is the 60-foot open space in which the Sarasota National residents were adjacent to the road. And this portion, what we've done is we've shifted the road from its center line south by 60 feet, ensuring that there's an open space for linear pond systems on that northern portion. It includes 11-foot travel lanes, a 10-foot shared use path on the north side, 7-foot bike lanes on both sides, a closed drainage system, 16-foot high street lights, and a linear pond system. Also in this area, what we've done is on the northern portion of the back of the swale system, we've included red cedar trees on 10-foot centers. These are fast-growing trees with high opacity, essentially the ability to block out the road. And then finally, we've gone to the two-lane divided portion. This is the orange portions on this map. These are your typical two-lane divided roadways with a median. And in this, we have 11-foot travel lanes, a 10-foot shared use path on the north side, 7-foot bike lanes again on both, a closed drainage system, and 30-foot high street lights. One question and concern that came up during our design phases was wetland impacts and bufferings to existing residents. In this image here, I'm showing the wetland impacts where the culvert crossing, which, by the way, was originally four culverts of about 48-inch size, or 36-inch size, excuse me. And we are going to be replacing this with a dual 9x5 box culvert. And in doing so, what we've done is mitigated the amount of wetland impacts in the area, as well as increased the buffer from the existing residents on the southern portion to the edge of the pavement. That number is about 40 foot. Also, one of the concerns during our design period were the driveway widths of the existing residents on the southern portion of the typical two-lane divided road. What we've done here is your typical FDOT driveway is about 12 foot in width. We've gone forward with a 24-foot width driveway, as well as a 30-foot or 38-foot pavement connection, meaning that at the pavement, the driveway is 38 feet. Here's a representation, a model representation of a trailer vehicle entering the driveway. I know it shows a four-door sedan pulling that trailer. This model is actually any passenger vehicle, your typical F-250 truck or something that would pull that type of trailer. Also, I wanted to say that the concrete driveways will be 6-inch fiber mesh reinforced concrete. Here, let me go back. That image is entering into the driveway and onto the property. This is exiting the property. And then at the median opening in between the two, we have provided a bulb in which a turnaround is allowable. And so this image shows the turnaround bulb for the vehicle pulling the trailer. And then another concern that we've all been talking about quite a lot is drainage. This image right here is an existing condition. It's what happens in a 100-year storm. You'll see that that red portion is actually indicating water overtopping the existing East Manasota Beach Road. Our design is going to convey that storm water properly to the dual 9x5 box culvert and ensure it no longer overtops the road and enters into the southern portion. I have Liz Yeardley with me here today. She's going to talk about the environmental permitting portion.
Hey there, good evening. My name is Liz Yeardley. I'm a senior ecologist at Stantec, and I've been assisting the county and our engineering folks with the environmental permitting aspects of the project. As Jared briefly mentioned, the wetland issues, wetland impact issues, we came into this from the previously existing permit. We were able to design the roadway extension project such that we would reduce those impacts to less than a half an acre of total impacts with the entire roadway segment. In addition to that, I know wildlife concerns has been a big hot issue as well. We did do preliminary list of species surveys of the entire length. The only species that we found that were currently occupying the roadway extension was Gregor tortoises. We have let the state agencies know that we did find tortoise stories within the alignment, and we will be required by the state to go and do the relocation permitting once we have all of our development permits.
How can they be so sure?
Yeah. Hey folks, there are a few seats up front here. If anybody wants to sit down, there's about 4 exercise seats that are over here.
I did want to touch on the existing Manasota Beach Road portion. This is from 776, which you can see in the upper left portion of the image, and then following that to the east and through the middle image, and then down to the south to the coastal blue intersection, which is the entrance into Beach Walk. Our improvements include we're gonna mill and resurface the entire roadway to bring it up to
Okay,
a proper.
I found this on the web for existing portion of the upper portion of the image
Proper
following
pavement
the east
condition,
entrance.
as well as we'll be rehabilitating the swale system on the southern side to its prehistoric or prehistory historic drainage system. And then also we'll be doing a extension of the westbound to northbound right turn lane, as well as the westbound to southbound turn lane and through lane. That will be extended by around 150 foot round numbers. Intersection control is also another conversation that we had throughout the design period. Our first intersection is the Coastal Blue Drive and East Manasota Beach Road. This intersection is going to be changing due to the new alignment. We were asked to conduct a traffic signal and always stop condition analysis. We had traffic counts completed in December on the road and concluded that the intersection did not meet warrants for any additional stop control. It will continue to be an existing stop sign on Coastal Blue Drive. And then we also looked into the 776 and East Manasota Beach Road intersection. We had requested DOT adjust left turn lane movements to a protected left. This is FDOT owned right of way, and it is their decision on what improvements they make, but it has been a suggestion that we made to the DOT. Both intersections will continue to be monitored and reevaluated as warranted. And I believe that concludes our presentation.
Okay, now's your time. I just have the screen here, you'll have 3 minutes to talk. We have right now 27 speakers signed up. So if everybody's efficient with their words, we should be able to get everybody in. As we go through this, we'll call 6 speakers up at a time. If you want to stage in these 6 seats, then we'll get you going as soon as we can. There's going to be a clock over there. We're going to do it just like the board meeting. And so Paula's going to be the clock master. And start it and stop it when the speaker's up, and we'll move through. So we don't extend the time that is needed for people to get in and out of their talks. We will not engage in a Q&A right when the speaking is done. We will just write the questions down and then respond to it after that as we close the meeting. Okay? So we'll start with the first 6 people. Jerry Harasek, Mary Beth Jones, Mary Burke, John Burke, you only get 3 minutes. Kelly Bauman,
Made that clear.
Jerry, go ahead. Thank you.
I don't think I'm gonna take more than a minute, but my name is Jerry Tarasak. I'm a full-time resident of North Cayman Isles Boulevard in the Boca Raton Golf and Country Club in Sarasota County, and I support the 2-mile Manasota Beach Road Connector project. A significant portion of Manasota Beach Road between 776 and River Road already exists, and this project will complete that connection. It'll provide additional access to the beach, Bone Park, the new school system, and create another potential hurricane evacuation route. This is
Go back to a gated community.
low-cost, low-risk improvement for taxpayers utilizing Sarasota County Public-Private Partnership, an approach that's widely recognized as a best practice for road and infrastructure development, both locally and nationwide, with strong governance, and I think we have that here in Sarasota County. PPPs shift appropriate risk to the private sector, establish risk management processes and financing can help ensure these projects truly benefit the public. I also want to acknowledge and empathize with local residents here today who live near the planned 2-mile, 2-lane extension. They have raised valid concerns about increased traffic safety, potential flooding, and environmental impacts to wildlife. with responsible builder mitigation planning, sound governance, and thoughtful environmental engineering. I believe these concerns have been addressed and mitigated in this 90% road design. If not, I think it'd be great if we could hear what additional mitigation initiatives need to be incorporated into the design. The Manasota Beach Road Extension represents a significant change to our community. We all know that. Driven in part by Florida's rapid growth as a top destination for people seeking economic opportunity and a high quality of life. That's why we moved here. My hope is that the county and its partners continue to take every responsible step to mitigate environmental impacts while delivering an improvement that serves the broader public good. Thank you for this opportunity to speak.
I think they get the.
Go ahead. Thank you, sir. So, folks, before Mrs. Burke gets started, right, with the right person? Go ahead. Mary Beth, my bad, my apologies. So I'll just go over, we have some public workshop civility guidelines that I would like to remind everyone of about to get started.
And the 3
First is
minutes.
to please silence or turn off all electronic devices. Conduct prolonged conversations outside of the meeting room. Do not clap, whistle, heckle, gesture, conduct loud conversations, or other disruptive behavior. Only those individuals who have submitted speaker cards and are acknowledged by the project team may address comments. Comments should be limited to the 90% project design, but we appreciate all comments that are provided. And please refrain from personal attacks, abuse of language, and redundancy. Do not harass, annoy, or otherwise disturb any other person in the room. So we greatly appreciate you adhering to these civility guidelines. Now, Mrs. Jones, thank you.
Thank you. I had a lot of nice pictures that I took out on East Manasota Beach Road previously and yesterday and today. I came here tonight to share an update that was given to Pennington Place. One of my neighbors spoke to Mr. Stokes. I wanted to start out with, where is Pennington Place, you might ask. I say that because no one knew where it was located at the first dog and pony show at Jacaranda Library. I quote, "It is not our problem," referring to our setback not meeting code. We are going to extend the right turn lane. Our community of 194 single-family homes and villas enjoyed a special place on 776 and East Manasota Beach Road until Mr. Neal decided his homes were more important than ours. Our neighbor spoke to Mr. Stokes last Friday and shared a conversation with me. I believe he may be the project manager. It does not appear that he has been here to actually see our concerns regarding our setback not meeting county code. The construction should never have been approved when we were built in 2012. Mr. Stokes said the county will take a little more land to extend the right turn lane, even though it isn't going to back up. There's a storm drain where that right turn lane is, and I've learned tonight from Jared that there is an inlet box there on the grass, which, that doesn't look like it's gonna move much water when we get flooded. The water will have nowhere to go but in our home. Since there's no swale, the brick walkway to my neighbor's front door is 18.5 feet from the road. For those of you who have a 100-foot buffer, I hope you realize what's happening to us. Did we not learn anything after Ian with all the flooding on 776 East Manasota Beach Road and Manasota Key? Just past our units, the fence is open. Everyone goes by, can see. We have 40 acres of preserve. We can't touch that. We can't alter it. So we're left with that open, letting even more noise through. I also had a picture of these funny looking signs that have these numbers hidden on them that no one's paying any attention to, that are speed limit signs. So that's a joke on the road also. Mr. Stokes thought the construction trucks were using the front entrance to Beach Walk. Wouldn't that be nice? He also said we do not have a sound wall because we are not a Pat Neal development. Pennington Place is ignored and dismissed. As the road expansion goes through, it all piles up at our community and the unsafe intersection at 776. Our homes are not safe from speeding vehicles. There is no grass between the road and the sidewalk, which makes using the sidewalk frightening. I was trying to get people to slow down today. I was scared on my bicycle. Getting out of our gates will be impossible, and our property values are sinking fast. The half mile of East Manasota Beach Road we live on is not part of the grand scheme of Mr. Neal's habitat destruction. We are requesting the county to support us with a resolution that will keep us safe and reduce
Ma'am, your
traffic
time is up.
speed,
Ma'am.
noise, and pollution. Thank you.
It's actually on the other way.
Thank you.
Mrs. Burke, Mr. Burke.
Two separate people.
It's only one card, so it's 3 minutes.
Oh, all right. I didn't know there was any comment cards. I think originally it was a Q&A session, so Q&As that, might not all flow together, but, I thought it was Pat Neal was supposed to be here. Am I mistaken with that? That was the original plan, but anyway. So a lot of my questions and concerns address things that Pat Neal had said. At the April 23rd meeting, he spoke to the county commissioner, firmly stating that there was no citizen opposition regarding Manasota Beach Road Extension. I asked you how there could be any opposition if the citizens were never notified of your plan, as was the Beach Walk and Boca Royale community was notified, presumably by Pat Neal. That basically was a lie. I don't know why he has to be so slick that he thinks that people aren't going to notice when he's not being truthful. He said the county owns the right of road, the right of way. Do you know this to be 100% accurate? He also, in a FOIA record that we requested to Mr. Nunder about, Neal said that Boca Royale and Beach Walk residents are planning to talk at the April meeting against Keyway. So please be advised that I would like the county to add an additional 30 minutes to the agenda, to the timing. And I just wonder to myself, does he have that kind of power to tell the county how much time he wants for his own agenda? Let's see, asking them to, on May 14th, a memo to Jonathan Lewis and Spencer, asking them to limit Sarasota review to just Spencer, as well as the Stormwater and Environment Department. He does not want to be embarrassed by having Northport, whoever that gentleman's name is, completed before his project. He explained some complications. In a memo to Lewis and Spencer, he explained some complications that he did not expect. I wanted him to elaborate. He said 159 people were at the library meeting, and I'm going to have plenty of fun with them. But I think I can solve this. And I wanted to ask him if he's having any fun yet, because we aren't. And I'd like to know which citizens he was referring to. We have the same concerns as Keyway. We have homes 50 to 100 feet from, I think even less than 50 from the new road. Ours, it doesn't connect to the drain. We have water plants too. We have value of our homes from, there's same issues.
Well, I only had one speaker card, so it's only 3 minutes.
I filled out a speaker card.
Okay, then I'll give it later.
Thank you.
We'll get you later, sir. Please, if you can, we'll get you a new speaker card.
Thanks.
Sir, please.
I didn't hear what you said.
Just have a seat. We'll get to your speaker card later.
Was it John and Mary?
No, it's just 3 minutes per speaker card. So that was 3 minutes.
I had my own card.
Okay, great. We'll get to you when it comes up.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Okay, Mrs. Belden, you are up next. Let me go for the next 5 people so we can get on stage. Barbara Mabry, Dominic Bayani, Martin Cernak,
Get him, girl.
Catherine Hughes. And that's 4, and Elaine McMahon.
Okay, so in regards to your design, the first speaker said to benefit the broader public. The only thing that this road is doing is benefiting Welland Park. And the people in Englewood and on East Manasota Beach Road are not taking their little golf carts and driving the vert trail to Welland Park. This is only benefiting Welland Park, straight to the beach, as Pat Neal said, that he'd give them beach access, which is, it's a crack. Like, our beach is so small as it is. The infrastructure does not support another 35,000 people. I think that's cars, actually, so probably 55,000 people on the beach. It's a 2-lane road on Manasota Beach Road to the west. Everything that you're proposing does not align with that road. It's putting a square peg in a round hole. It's absurd, and that's how the people of Englewood feel. It's not right to lift up Welland Park as the new development and on our tax dollars. Our property will be destroyed. It was destroyed nearly in Ian. You all can control the flood through your, whatever, I can't think of the, stormwater retention ponds and so forth. It was a mess with Ian. Our whole property and Manasota Beach Road looked like the Everglades. And to think that you're gonna build up this road, 4 feet, I think was one of your engineers said, at least 4 feet, we're gonna be in a swimming pool. So can you guarantee that the people of East Manasota Beach Road will not flood or be required to pay flood insurance? Right now, we don't. There are 26 homes on East Manasota Beach Road, not including any of the other developments and not including the homes on the west side. Are you willing to put a $26 million surety bond that our homes will not flood and that they will not be required to obtain flood insurance? And if you break these promises, are you willing to pay each of the homeowners $100,000 cash? Are you willing to put up a surety bond? Right now, we know what we have to deal with. Bringing in this development for the road is going to be a disaster. The wildlife that you didn't see, there's panther, bobcat families, gopher tortoise families, generations of wildlife. So I don't know what you missed, but come down anytime and you'll see it.
True.
Hello, my name is Bert Navy. How are you all? I don't even live on Manasota Beach Road, but I've got a real problem with what's going on in this town. Who gets an unsolicited proposal to build a road? You know. I mean, I've never had that happen. Does anyone in this room believe it's done to assist the town of Inglewood? Wrong. This is to appease an out-of-control developer. As Stan they always say little environmental impact except the turtles. The destruction of the green space to appease one person. When did you meet with MDR residents? Before you set your plan into play? When did you hold your 30-day and 60-day update? Is Pat Neal in the back room? Pat Neal doesn't have to be here because he has everybody in here working for him and does his bidding. DOT is still in the review period for Keyway Road. Yet it seems that Pat Neal's plans are moving ahead to remove Keyway Road from the long-range transportation plan. What is that? He wrote a memo to Commissioner Petzinger in March 13th of 2025, and he said he would build Manasota Beach Road and Little Keyway. Is that even appropriate? I mean, is that really ethical? I'm sorry, I find it highly unethical and frankly a violation of the mission of our county leaders. So why is DOT and Pat Neal presenting this project as if we have 3 choices over there? Keyway. Why are we acting like Keyway is still under review? What exactly is DOT reviewing on a long-range thoroughfare plan? No matter what the citizen says, the fix is in. What are the plans for Keyway if removed? Or should I say when? From the long-range plan. On March 13, 2025, in the same memo, Pat Neal stated Keyway does not go anywhere. Will it remain a dead end to Boca Royale residents? Mark my words, Pat Neal wants Keyway for future endeavors that will benefit him. He already has plans. All of you here from Keyway, get ready, because it will happen to you like it's done to everybody else in this town, except Welland Park. What's up in Welland, which is a little news article, It states the Winchester Range project will have 70,000 additional trips that will include widening of River Road, US 41, and State Road 776, and construction of internal roads like Credo Boulevard, Keyway, and West Villages Parkway. Keyway is apparently already promised by Pat Neal for bigger and better plans. If you think that Pat Neal's here to help you, you're all wrong. The fact that you're bringing 2,000 youths down River Road South should never have been allowed until it was upgraded, widened, before someone gets killed on that death trap you all call River Road.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. Hey, I worry about my kids.
I want to be very brief. What my concern is, and this project encompasses some of those concerns, is the quality of the coastal waters and how this particular project is having a certain effect on our, particularly Lemon Bay. We have a few creeks coming from Welland Park, the Fort Creek, Godfrey Creek, there's a few. But most of the folks here have witnessed and suffered through the flooding. But my main concern is building, more building, more building. So from today on, I would like anyone involved for planning to think about, let's start limiting new building. Let's limit it, and I can go on and on. As a matter of fact, Lemon Bay Conservancy, if anyone has heard of them, they're hosting a speaker tomorrow night, and he's a professor on seagrasses. One of the most important pieces of Lemon Bay and many bays all around Florida. So I think we need to slow building down in general here, especially along the coastal waters. This project, Welland Park, and there's just so many new proposals. I just saw another one today was approved. I think we're pushing too hard on development, and we need to just step it back some. Thank you.
Thank you.
I saw that you have lots of plans for the roadway itself, although by your own estimates, you're planning on bringing 20, I'm sorry, am I holding you up?
Okay, sir.
Okay. 25,000 cars a day to Manasota Beach, and I haven't seen the map of how you're gonna address that parking lot. So I wanna see that. I think we all do. Has anyone ever been to Manasota Beach?
Yeah.
On Saturday? Can you picture 25,000 more cars going there?
No.
I'd like to see you explain where those cars are gonna go. 25,000 per day. It's totally outrageous. These meetings go on and on and on, again and again, and it's a joke. It's an insult. Because no one who's been an elected representative is listening to the people. Every one of these meetings is packed. Never, ever does do the commissioners consider and change their perspective. They've got it already. They are taking the orders from developers. So if there's nothing we can do to legally stop this collaboration of council members and developers, then we will make sure that no one here ever serves another term in any kind of public office, ever. Because you've shown a total lack of integrity. It's disgusting. The council members are meant to be representing the people that come out here and live in this area, not developers. But it's the opposite way. You've got developers along with council members hobnobbing for hours and hours, thousands of hours every month, and the people are just left to pick up the pieces. We're not putting up with it. I'm not putting up with it. This beach is it. This is where the fork in the road. You can choose to start listening to your constituents who pay your salary, or you can look at criminal charges and investigations, because something is driving this development, not just here, but all over Florida. No matter how many times we have these meetings and how many people stand up and say, no, we don't want this, the people that are meant to be representing us push it through. Why is that? Being complicit with corruption is a felony. So if anyone up here is aware of any goods or services being passed from Pat Neal and his organization to any of these commissioners, and that includes anything over $5, you better speak up.
Thank you, sir. Catherine Hughes.
Very good. I'm gonna vote for him.
My name is Catherine Hughes. I come from 5 generations that have lived in this town. My children make the 3rd that is born here. I want to speak and address the impacts that this project poses on wildlife, the surrounding communities, and the public safety, based on the county and zone planning documents. In 2010, the Lemon Bay Water Management Plan recognizes that the tributaries and their watersheds directly influence water quality, flooding behavior, and estuarine health. It identifies pollutant loading, altered freshwater flows, and the loss of the natural drainage features as contributors not only to the environment degradation, but to increased risk for the surrounding communities. Fork Creek is an environmentally significant body of water. So my first question I'll ask you, are you going to bulldoze that historic cattle bridge that is on that creek? This is the last opening of that Welland Park has not messed with. It is the last standing freshwater of that creek before it goes into the estuaries. Natural creek systems like Fork Creek function as flood buffers, wildlife corridors, and water quality filters. Those systems are altered and constrained to impacts and extends beyond wildlife. It affects our neighborhoods, our homes. These changes have public safety implications. The flooding, the drainage, everything in that watershed. It will additionally strain River Road, which is already strained enough. These local arterial roads, they will flood, causing congestion, limited alternative routes that will directly affect other traffic flow and evacuation. You're adding this road in the name of helping one brand new community by sacrificing the integrity and the safety of other roads in our long-standing communities like Old Englewood, Manasota Key. It's not acceptable. Any approval that ignores these wildlife and community impacts and relies on outdated flood control sections or fails to address the flooding, traffic, and safety impacts is negligent and at the least a liability to the entire Englewood community. Also, it's inconsistent for the county to adopt any watershed and environmental-based policies. I ask that all of these impacts be fully evaluated before any further approval is granted. I would also like to ask some questions in my last minutes. Why is East Manasota Beach Road better for Englewood, not just Welland Park? When there are more centrally located roads, such as Keyway Road, Focal Rail Boulevard, or even Winchester Boulevard that goes to Prado and was supposed to go to 41. We were promised those as alternative evacuation routes decades ago, before West Villages or Welland Park even existed. That is a failure on the county and everyone involved. This East Manasota Beach Road evacuates to where? Would love to know. Direct answer. Where is it going to evacuate to? How is that being mitigated? How is that being handled? Your failed planning does not create an emergency on our part to fix your problems by sacrificing our quality of life to better your own.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Elaine McMahon. And the next 5 speakers will be Daniel McMahon.
My husband and I have a home along with about 100 of our neighbors that is directly abuts Keyway Road. Last winter, we and all our neighbors were advised, not by the FEMA, but rather by the county, and continue to be advised by the county through postcards and encouraging us to watch the county website with any number of meetings that were going on relative to the potential Gateway Road expansion and the fact that it was in the plan. And I have to say, particularly because of the remarks made earlier this evening, that we very much appreciate your staff's answering our questions, giving us some direction, and got a lot of good feedback from commissioner staff too. And ultimately, after working together, we were able to convince the commissioners of Sarasota last spring to unanimously support taking Keyway off of the county road plan because it just did not make sense. Over the decades, well, about 37 years ago, to our understanding, the original road plan was put together to support this expansion of our area. And clearly, Eastwood and Venice landscape has changed significantly, and it has required dramatic and in-depth analysis of where we go from here. And many people tonight and throughout this period of investigation have complained that there's been just, too much development. And I would submit that that is not the issue, that's a moot point. The point is this: we have the growth, there is growth coming, and it's a responsibility of all of you and your commissioners to make a decision that is the best decision for our communities, and it's the most fiscally responsible decision for our taxpayers. And we believe very much that the decision that you have reached, and we've all been following the good work that you've done and the communiques that you sent us, and we think that Manasota Beach Road is the best solution. It provides a direct route to the beaches. That was the key element in that 37-year-old road plan that came up. And Keyway is just a dead end. To get to the beaches, you've got to go down to Manasota Road and go further. Another key element is, I'm sure you're all aware of the Venice study that I think the county had done. And in it, they did the assessment of what the cost would be for Keyway Road. And it was at a minimum $48 million. And people who have more than 3 minutes to speak and have engineering degrees that we don't indicated that the cost could go as high as $65 to $100 million. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your service.
Everybody's doing a great job so far. So this will continue to do that. Thank you. Daniel McMahon.
Thank you. I'm a resident of Boca Raton, and we approached the commission last April and gave a thorough analysis as to why we think, and the commission agreed that Keyway was an appropriate expansion of the roadway system and to be removed from the transportation plan. I don't really have, a real strong feeling one way or another about Manasota Beach Road. What I do regret is that the debate over this, public policy debate, has evolved into hyperbole, hysteria, and we just heard a little while ago, slander of people without any evidence to it. And that to me is regretful. In a vigorous democracy, we need to have vigorous debates, but they need to be respectful and they need to be factual. And it's been lost here, and I would very much regret it because it seems like we can't have a discussion anymore. It has to be a yelling and screaming match. It has to be sized, and it has to be a winner and a loser. That's not the way good policy is made. And I respect the job that you and you do, and having to put up with this. I'm embarrassed by it, frankly. Thank you.
I hope he feels better.
Yes, the microphone's here.
Sandra Burke at Pennington Place. Here we are again at a critical point of the MBR extension. While the commissioners have given Mr. Neal blanket approval to give everyone living in Welland Park a back road to Manasota Beach Road, he has changed his plan and now has chosen to use Manasota Beach Road East a small 2-lane road instead of Keyway Road. I wonder why that is. Which is a 4-lane road. This will have dire consequences for the people living on Manasota Beach Road East and to the homeowners of Pennington Place, a 194-unit small gated community that abuts this road. My question is, what kind of studies have been done to mitigate the flooding that will almost certainly happen, as it already floods on 776 and Manasota Beach Road and West? As of 2023, the average daily traffic on 776 was 38,500 cars a day, including trucks, cars, and motorcycles using this road. It is certainly more now the road on the road. We will be adding 25 to 30,000 more cars daily. It is already a very dangerous road with many accidents and even deaths. 11 months ago today, both myself and my husband were rear-ended by a semi-truck on 776 and seriously injured. Luckily, we are here today and still alive. I have to find my place. I'm sorry. At the stoplight on 776 in Manasota Beach Road East, the owners of Pennington Place have two choices to get to their homes. Either make a U-turn or take Manasota Beach Road East and use the back entrance. The amount of traffic will surely make it almost impossible to use. What about the noise and pollution that will happen when everything is backed up at the lights and waiting for them to turn green? What do you think? This will do more to hurt the home values of Pennington Place. Our livelihoods will be severely impacted by using this road to get to the beach.
Thank you, ma'am. Your time's up. Joyce Cole?
Board Association. We had a meeting yesterday, a board meeting, and among other topics, this came up. There's pretty much uniformity that we disagree with this project, bringing it over to the beach. We happen to be fortunate enough, unlike some of these other people that I've listened to, we have a gate that blocks entry into 60 homes that go up the North Key. The beach is earmarked, is quite small, really. The parking lot, which has been expanded, is full constantly. People park on the sides of the bridge, on the other side of the bridge, all the way down Manasota Beach Road, and they go down Alamander. There's constantly signs that say that the parking lot's full. So question, what are you planning to do about additional parking when 40,000 people come over that bridge from Welland Park? I don't know where they're gonna go. I also inquired at Welland Park at the new development if they were planning to have a shuttle, since they were marketing their houses as easy access to the beach. And they said no. So I would like to know whether they are going to do that, the county's going to do that. How are you going to mitigate the problem of parking over there? The other thing is, I heard you say that you examined the intersection at 776 and Manasota Beach Road and found that it didn't need any changes. I think it needs changes now, because the left turn lane coming off of West Manasota Beach Road to get onto 76 to turn north is very short, does not have enough room, and is not long enough. And with cars coming straight at you from now, what will be the east end of Manasota Beach, it will be impossible to make left-hand turns there without an arrow. The other thing is, and I don't know that this is related, but since you're redoing everything, the entrance road coming from the north section of 776, the turn lane that takes you west on Manasota Beach Road over, is a horrible turn lane. I don't know who put it in, but it goes like, literally goes like this, and your car almost loses control. So while you're doing all this, if you could throw a few bucks in there and fix this. Everybody on Manasota Beach Road right now, the North Manasota Beach Road is happy about this. We're also fearful we may never get out of behind our gate. We may be trapped.
Leslie, June?
So, yeah, my name's Leslie June. I live on East Manasota Beach Road. Now, I am on the dirt road cul-de-sac before Beach Walk, and I'm almost down to the end. And after Hurricane Ian, that dirt road was a river. We couldn't get cars down, we couldn't even get down to our homes for a week or 2 weeks. Even after the last ones that didn't have as much of heavy rain, my understanding from some of the residents that have been there over the decades is that the development of Beach Walk impacted the flooding down into that area. And at that time, Beach Walk was barely developed. And now it's more developed. You're talking about putting this road in, and we're looking at having water in the house, and I have questions about what you're going to do to mitigate that. And you mentioned that there was like a half acre or something that is not addressed with the impact of the wetlands, and like the Clean Water Act and all of those things. We need to address the wetlands. It's just principle of physics that water, you can't tell it what to do. It's going to do what it's going to do. Are you going to build a bridge over that area? Is there going to be, what happens with Fort Creek? Is there going to be a bridge or a causeway or something so that it's not messed with? And then stoplights. With this much traffic, you said there's no need for additional stoplights. I would argue there probably should be one at Beach Walk. And yeah, I'm not going to be able to get out of my little cul-de-sac and turn left. I don't know, I guess we have to turn right and make a U-turn at Beach Walk. And then what about traffic control? Is there gonna be some, like there was a Jacaranda or something, what's the speed limit gonna be there, and how is it gonna be enforced or controlled? You mentioned the tortoises, but my understanding is that there is at least one panther back there, and there's only 170 to 230 panthers left, and they're all in Southwest Florida. And so I'm concerned about the beach. Are you gonna widen the road between 776 and the beach? Because otherwise the cars are gonna be backed up parking all the way to 776. And then the evacuation route, what's gonna be done about that? And what about streetlights? Are there gonna be streetlights at intersections, those kind of things, so that there's some kind of lighting there to see what's going on, because the road changes, it curves and it juts one way or the other. And I had a little PowerPoint deck with a few pictures of the flooding to show you exactly what I'm talking about, but I'm gonna be happy to email that to you folks and the commissioners. Thank you.
Thank you. And folks, for those who didn't want to speak tonight or aren't going to have the opportunity to, there are the comment cards that are outside. They do have an email address. It's a generic email address for the transportation department. If you would like to email us comments or additional information like that PowerPoint, like you mentioned, please do that to that email address.
Yeah, I was born in Cape Coral, so I've kind of seen this play out before with the beach. I used to spend weekends staying at the beach in Fort Myers because it was a weekend getaway. That was the only way you could enjoy the beach because it was so hard to get over to the beach. It took so long because of the amount of traffic. I do have some questions overall because I do think a lot of things on the west side of Manasota Beach Road haven't been discussed enough. There are not sidewalks that continue all the way to the beach. So where are all the golf carts and the electric bikes gonna go? Are they gonna go on the road? That's going to cost additional money for us to put that infrastructure in beyond just this road. And I think we're not thinking about the bigger picture. We're really opening up Manasota Beach to Northport as well than just Welland Park. And I don't think it's gonna stop there. Neil's using Welland Park and the beach access, but I think other developers are gonna catch on really quickly and say this is a great marketing and advertising ploy to start creating more development, more houses, sell more houses. So we're gonna be dealing with probably more development on the other side of River Road. I also think this might be a perfect storm, apologies about the language, of development going on the road. There is a major construction going on in the bridge of Manasota Beach there at the same time, as well as Blind Pass being rebuilt. So all that's coming within the next 2 years. So how is all this construction gonna compound, or how is it gonna be separated to make sure that there's still through traffic going through? I know we had an issue with minors in Welland Park hanging out at the downtown Welland Park and then having to put through a curfew. Manasota Beach is open till 10 p.m. every night. If they have electric bikes and they have a straight through road, how are we going to prevent them from hanging out at the beach late at night and causing additional support from law enforcement needs? I do see that as likely an issue. I didn't see Venice East prior, so I don't know if that was a new addition, the connection of Venice East onto the road, but I see that as likely bringing even more neighborhoods and even more traffic in. So I just wanted to call that out and understand when that was introduced within this timeline. On the corner of Manasota on the corner of Manasota and 776 right now, across from Manasota Scrub Preserve, there's a big, large lot there empty right now that's not developed. Betterson just bought that. So you might want to take that into consideration when you're understanding traffic needs in the turn lanes. They bought that back in October after this was approved. So I do see more commercial going on there that we'll have to account for within 776 and within this development. I am very concerned with residents of West Manasota Beach being able to get to their houses, being able to function on a daily basis. If it starts backing up and all the cars start backing up because there is no turnaround, if there is no parking, how are they going to get to their homes? How are we going to move people in and out of there quickly? There is going to be a lot more traffic going down into Inglewood Beach as well, and people using that Canopy Road. So even more traffic that way. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, the next five are Paul Frederick, Sandy Keith, Martin Hyde,
Well done.
Richard Freshwater, and Michelle Lang. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. My first comment is we're having an pledge of allegiance.
Yeah.
No character there. Secondly, you've been really successful at causing a lot of strife in this community. Third, you created in the process an enormous public hazard. Let me give you a little information I got from FDOT.
If you're speaking on the mic, we can do the room that you
Yeah,
get.
a little information I got from FDOT and Sarasota County Traffic and Engineering. Jack ran in 41. In a 9-month period of 2025, 188 collisions, traffic collisions. That's 1 mile from NBR and 776 intersection. The 77, that intersection in particular, currently is logging in 68,500 annual average daily trips. That's the way FDOT describes it. Your proposal is to add another 32,000 average and daily trips to that intersection. It's a ridiculous idea. The whole thing should be stopped, resubmitted to the commission for repeal. This is a public safety issue. This is creating a public hazard. 776 is a 6-lane highway in that intersection. You're putting this traffic, a 600% increase of traffic onto NBR on a 2-lane road that can never be expanded beyond a 2-lane road. This will never be. It needs to be reconsidered. All of this stuff that Stantec has submitted about the concrete channel, well, where does the water go? You put a concrete pipe in the ground, where does the water go to begin with? There's nowhere for it to drain. Not unless you're gonna put in pumping stations, lift stations, that's a lot more money. Wasn't in any of their description. This is a mistake. It needs to be reconsidered. 90% or not, You might have wasted your time, wasted your money. The private investor, well, sometimes they lose money. Public people need to be much more concerned and considerate about public tax dollars. And I don't like to see public tax dollars spent so easily. This is a big issue. And again, what you've done is caused a lot of concern and strife among the residents of Englewood, at least. And, you know, and all I can say is you skipped out on a lot of this information. You're not telling the people what you really do know. Here's to you, sir. Thank you.
Ms. Keith?
Yes, my name is Tammy Keith, and I've been in this area, or my family has, for coming up close to 40 years. We have had the beauty of this coast. I'm born and raised in Miami. I've seen unencumbered growth. What I speak about tonight most specifically is we hear you in telling us what you are going to do. Many of us think to us. What I'm going to ask you now is, what can you do for me? I live in that neighborhood of 776 in the houses before the bridge. We have thoroughfare streets. They were built very long. Many of them are at least a third of a mile. When we asked to get stop signs put in to break that up, we were given 25-mile-per-hour speed signs. You can go from off of 776 on the Manasota Beach Road, and you can go straight down Belvedere to Alamander, never a single stop sign. And you can go left all the way to the beach. On the curve of Manasota Beach Road, which is the most direct, you have, again, neighborhood streets that are going for a third of a mile. We can't, since we've had the growth that we've had, and I know what's happened is going to happen, we can't get the vehicles to stop going 35 and 40 miles an hour on those thoroughfares with 250F trucks, trailers, boats. We have drag racing on that street. We weren't even able to get stop signs. What are you going to do for us? And when things are backed up and there's nowhere for emergency vehicles to go, whether that's to get somebody off the key, to get somebody in that neighborhood, to get a guest that's visiting our beach, I feel like we are, growth for the sake of growth is the mentality of a cancer cell. How will the people who are coming here, why should they ever believe anything when the people who have lived here have been sold out? And I find it a little disingenuous that this all passed August 27th of 2025, when many of our residents are somewhere else, and even the ones who stay here locally try to get the hell out of here for a part of hurricane season. I think it went down. I think you're telling us how it's going to be, and I think that all of us kind of can feel that way. I want people to have amenities, but where is the safety? What are you going to do for the existing people? You are funneling thousands of people into a 2-lane and a bridge. A funnel doesn't work that way.
Thank you, ma'am.
Well, good evening to everybody. Apologies to those who thought they'd be getting answers tonight. Most of the people here are still struggling with the obvious question of why this is happening, more than how this environmental vandalism would be actually engineered. Taking 15 Taking $15 million in recent federal funds from River Road, which remains unfinished after 20 years, is a head scratcher. The why answers, though, are staring you all in the face tonight. From citizens, many senior citizens, having to stand while 12 front row seats are reserved and in part occupied by young and healthy Pat Neal employees. County employees either, but paid consultants, again paid by you-know-who. The sign-in table tonight was staffed by one county employee and another person with no badge on, whom I can identify as a Neal employee. The first speaker being in favour was also a little too coincidental to be a coincidence. One wonders though, how an unsolicited approach by any of us to fast-track any project over a 20-year delayed River Road would have been received. Now, what can be done? All of you, come to every commission meeting. It's not this guy's fault. Come to every county commission meeting. Demand that Commissioners Knight, Smith and Nunda revisit their approval and have them rescind their vote. Failing that, make it clear that this August you have the right to rescind your vote for those commissioners up for re-election on the basis that you're entitled to representation which represents the community and not just the special interests.
Mr. Freshwater. So Mr. Freshwater and Ms. Langman, you will be the last two speakers. We're at 7:40, but I already did call these two as speakers, so we'll end with you two.
Catherine.
Hello?
Can you send
My name is
him
Rick
that video?
Freshwater. I live on East Manasota Beach Road on the dirt private section. Lived there for over 52 years. Wow. And when they say there's hardly any wildlife out there, I see deer in my side yard, flocks of turkeys going through my front yard. We got the panther down at the end of the street that had a cub 40 years ago, which means they had to have the male somewhere. Eagles, hawks everywhere, and turtles. Oh yeah, they got turtles. But it's like, to have this road put through this area, I've lived here since '66, and it's like, to have that road dumping on the 776, it just can't handle it. And the only reason this road is being put in because the developer wants the road, because he promised people 4 years ago, from Lone Park, 10-minute drive to the beach, which can't even handle the traffic on the west side. I mean, I drove down there, I never go to the beach because it's a bad road to travel. It's too narrow, and you get to the beach, it's always crowded. I live on Manasota Beach Road. You know, it's like, but to have that road built, it's only reason it's being built because the developer wants that road. And he's made promises to people, and if he can get that road built, he can develop all that wooded section from River Road to 776, which is still open, which is the last of the wooded section still left in this area. Amen. And to sit there and run a road through it, and they're already proposing developments in that area, so they're gonna fill that right in once they get a road. He has to get this road. And he's influenced a lot of people in order to have his ways. And it's like, to have this done is ridiculous. Nobody in Inglewood wants this road. We don't want all that people coming over here. They want to come over here, go down the road a little bit, take Jacaranda. Go down the road, take River Road to come in. Why do they have to have basically a one-way trip? We want to go over that way. We take the normal roads like we always do.
That's right.
All right.
So to be honest, I wasn't planning on talking tonight. I'm not feeling great, and so I'm trying to keep some distance. So bear with me. I'm going to be using some language that I used previously to the commissioners. I'm an environmentalist at heart. I speak for the animals. We people always seem to find a way to make things work one way or another. I remember a quote that one of the commissioners said, Tom Knight, and I'm going to quote, I always urge people to stay engaged with their local government, even though you're busy and it's boring. This is a perfect example of why consistent engagement is so important. These developments take years to evolve from concept to government approval to the shovel-ready stage. And once it's at that point, there's no turning back. That's the end of his quote. So basically, he's saying this decision can change at any point until the shovel meets the ground. And there's a groundbreaking, and we're not there yet. With that said, there's so much development occurring through Sarasota County, and if we leave Manasota Beach Road Extension as it is currently today, we at least preserve a small part of what old Florida is all about. We preserve a small section of untouched virgin land. No buildings, no roads, no people. We save it for the protected scrub jays who have preserve on the other side of 776 of Manasota Beach Road. We save it for the protected sandhill cranes, the endangered bald eagles, the protected gopher tortoises, the endangered Florida panther, bobcats, all who have been spotted on this untouched land. Manasota Beach Road, the extension, the west side of Manasota Beach, has natural lands to the north of it, wetlands and natural habitats. Sarasota National Development voted against tapping into Manasota Beach Road. Therefore, no homes in the immediate west side of the proposed Manasota Beach Road will use this road beyond those who currently use a .6 section, which is the dirt road. Just think about that. Thank you.
All right, thank you all very much for your public comment and your participation in the meeting tonight. What we'll do now is kind of go through the questions that we wrote down and give you some responses to the points that were brought up. The points that were actually questions. There was a lot of good commentary. Thank you for that. And so let's go ahead and get started. I will get help from recall a friend here when I need to. But I'll start with, there was a couple instances, this is an easy one, about the golf carts and where golf carts are going to be from A to B. Just so we know, golf carts on roads in Sarasota County and generally in the city of Northport are illegal. All right, and they can also not be on, they're legal on the sidewalks and the MRFs. They are legal on roads with speeds of less than 35 miles an hour. Those are considered low-speed vehicles. So this MRF that's being proposed with this project it is not legal for golf carts to be on them. So there wouldn't be a continuation of a golf cart going from East Manasota Beach Road onto the roadways. And they are illegal to cross State Road 776. So that's just a technical detail of golf cart use. People do it. We know they all do it, especially around areas where it's kind of a common thing, but it's technically illegal to have golf carts on the sidewalks. Connection to West Manasota Beach Road and the effect on areas west of 776. There were many comments on that, and I have some information that I can provide, but I think that it would be more constructive for me to gather information from my team at the county and also bring in the Parks and Recreation people for us to have a more focused conversation on that. So what I would propose is that in the near term, we do schedule another maybe smaller meeting. I love all you, but you may not all be interested in things going on west of 776. So there's things I heard was obviously concerns about parking.
Excuse me, why not?
Yeah, we are.
That's the main purpose.
It's fine, absolutely. So things I heard as concerns were traffic, obviously more traffic from one side to the other, parking at the beach, some of the other side roads and impacts to that. How is that going to be accommodated, especially potentially bicycles, pedestrian traffic? What about impacts from other construction, especially the bridge reconstruction project or rehabilitation project that's coming up in a year or two? So there's a lot of things there that I think deserve a separate conversation that we can do at one time. So let us plan for that, and we'll make sure we get the information out, hopefully as well as we got it out tonight. Flooding. So this project is going to be designed to the highest level of flood protection in the state of Florida. As the county's flood protection level in design is for the 1% chance storm event, which is 10 into the rain in 24 hours. That is not Hurricane Ian. All right, I live in Northport, Northport proper, where the majority of the rain from Ian hit, and everybody in the roads out there were underwater for many, many days. So understood that there was flooding in this area. Ian is really not the best benchmark to look at for what this project's going to do. What this project's going to do is where we have that 1% chance floodplain, it will actually remove the road from the floodplain in the areas where it currently exists in the floodplain. There was question about whether the county will add or require, now the project will require properties to be, to obtain flood insurance. With the way the county permits projects, there can be no off-site impact with a flood design or stormwater design. It can't impact other properties. So it is not predicted that the county's project will impact any properties and require them to. The floodplain will not change for properties that in the project. If anything, it may even get better in some instances. The other question about the county insuring properties against flooding, there's prescriptive things that if you think the county has caused risk or harm to something, there's the county risk department, you can submit a claim that. Yes, I agree. Some wildlife, I'm gonna ask Liz, if you maybe can give a couple comments on maybe some of your procedural things you go through and how you do environmental studies to identify what's going on and address I think the larger concern about what's going on there.
Sure. So, we start looking before we even go out to the field to do any surveys. We always look at what's available in the public record. So we look at kind of heard people say that they're seeing cameras out there. We look at if there's any camera telemetry data. We look to see what's been mapped as far as bald eagle nest by FWS and the Audubon Society. FNAI has got a lot of great resources for historic sightings. Then we go out in the field. We look for anything that we happen to see. If I heard you say bobcats. I'm sure there are bobcats. Deer, I'm sure there are deer. Raccoons, all of those things that are out there, unfortunately, they're just not regulated by the state or federal government as a protected species. So, and I understand where you guys are coming from. Again, I'm an environmental scientist. It's my career. I've been with Stantec doing ecological work for over 20 years. We did incorporate, like I said in the beginning, we did reduce wetland impacts. Reducing those wetland impacts is beneficial to wading birds, nesting birds. We did incorporate for the creek crossing there, we did incorporate wildlife shelves there so that wildlife that might be traveling up the creek, they have a place that they can crawl up, walk underneath the roadway. It says I think about a half a yard of what the water level is of the creek. Same thing where those wetlands kind of, they're kind of almost about each other. They don't directly connect. We have a culvert underneath there that connect the two wetlands. Again, that allows for wildlife to cross underneath it there. So we try to incorporate wildlife friendly features that could potentially reduce the impacts from the roadway. Gopher tortoises, we did identify those within the roadway alignment. We will have to get a permit from Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission. We will have to relocate any of the tortoises, and we will have to resurvey because they do move around. So that'll have to be done prior to development.
What about the panther?
There's been, I know, I live in England, so I've heard anecdotal evidence that there's been panther sightings all throughout. Unfortunately, there just hasn't been anything that's documented. As far as the federal permitting goes, Inglewood's not in any of the primary focus zones or dispersal areas for that. So there's not really any recognition for protection for that habitat. But again, with this roadway project, again, not looking at the bigger developments that may or may not be going on, just the roadway itself, the portion of actual undisturbed native habitat that will be impacting is just a very short section. And unfortunately, it's closer to where the dirt road portion is of Beach Road. Everything that's east of there, that's connecting up to, I want to say is the east portion of Manasota Beach Road, all of that was previously agricultural lands, may have been impacted with the Sarasota National Project. So there's just not a lot of native habitat that's used for wildlife, the protected wildlife species that really is going to be impacted with this project.
Is there a route that you can just completely circumvent the wetlands?
Wayland Park can already get to 776 with the new Boca Royale entrance at Old
Okay,
England
folks, I'm
Road.
just gonna continue to answer these questions. I think we're doing great so far. So thanks, just as we can get through the questions here, and then we could potentially circle back up in the hallway afterwards if you have individual. Ma'am, we're just gonna keep doing this. If you wanna talk to us afterwards, we'll be available on the outside. Yeah, she'll be outside there. Okay, there was a question about a cattle bridge, and I'm not sure what that is. Ultimately, this project, and accompanying that with the River Road project, which is also in process, the design for that is to be complete in July of this year, and then construction by the end of next year, we should be under construction with that southern piece of River Road. So this, just looking at a network of what we're trying to do is set up the network for future roadway capacity and just movement is Manasota Beach Road will connect to Prado, will connect to West Villages Parkway, and then will connect to River Road. So it can distribute traffic but potentially better than the existing roadway network where you have to go down to Dearborn Street / River Road and then go up and then out to Jacaranda to go up and out as well. So it does provide additional connectivity within the existing network. Okay. Keyway Road, lots of comments about Keyway Road. We have the thoroughfare plan review ongoing. There is a specific review as to the various alternatives with Keyway Road, whether it's right now in thoroughfare plan, it's a 4-lane road. We're evaluating it as a 2-lane road or with no road. The county commission instructed us to go look at what it would be in order to take it out of the thoroughfare plan.
Wait a minute,
So,
are you saying it's
ma'am,
not coming
ma'am,
out of there? Oh,
ma'am.
I can't even take this now. That's a lie, buddy.
Okay, thank you.
That's a lie, a bald-faced lie.
So
That is a bald-faced lie, my
So
friend.
that'll be part of a comprehensive plan amendment that will go through planning commission, the county commission, to the state of Florida, and then back to the county commission. So there is a process that goes through along with the overall review of the thoroughfare plan that the county's doing. Okay, Penny.
Final approval of anything in season instead of the hot end of August when nobody wants to be here or is here.
Okay, I've got a few more questions to get. Penny?
Can we hear it in a timely fashion when the maximum amount of residents that are here paying taxes?
Ma'am, I don't have a schedule for that yet, but we will certainly advertise that. Pennington Place, lots of concerns about Pennington Place. The one thing about this roadway improvement that we're doing on the 0.6 of a mile between Coastal Blue and 776 is it's really not touching anything other than the roadway surface between that. So right now, we understand, yes, it's close to the existing roadway. That roadway curve is not planning to change. We're going to resurface. We're going to add a curve on the other side if we can to make it look symmetrical. And then we're going to make improvements at 776 with curving just to clean it up. The intersection of 776, it definitely needs improvements. That's a terrible design. The angle design of 776 in there, however, the state did that when they came to and built that roadway, not the best. One of the things with those left turns is, like I think Jared mentioned, we have asked the state to do protected lefts in that area rather than what they do right now, which is permanent lefts. So that means you will have a direct green arrow to take a left instead of, doing an arrow, a left on potentially a green ball or a flashing yellow light. So that will be a protected thing that we're working on with the DOT to implement.
For all 4 left turns.
At least the ones that are, all 4 make sense, yes, honestly. They will. So you gotta think, when that happens, just keep patient because you're gonna get your turn to take less, but it won't be as immediate as you might be able to make them now when there's no traffic on the road.
2024 cars.
Good speech.
Okay, queuing at 776. I asked you guys, if you guys looked at queuing it on 776 and how that might be.
Yeah, our extension of the turn lanes is adequate of the additional traffic that we propose with the East Manasota Beach Road Extension.
Okay.
Yes.
So the light at 776 in your entrances to Pennington Place. So you said U-turn 776 going back north to get into the main entrance off 776 or taking a left on Manasota Beach Road so you can get in, I guess, the back entrance. Those will still be maintained in the same fashion. There's no dedicated left turn lane because we don't have the room for it in the Pennington Place. So that same movement will be there. And then like the other coastal blue is anticipated to be a stop sign. Right now you have at least the folks at Beach Walk, they have a full median opening on 776. And the DOT, that's their main entrance. And the DOT didn't, demand or that they signalize that based on any kind of warrants in that. So thinking about that on 776 compared to the back entrance or construction entrance that it may be off of Manasota Beach Road, the warrants are very high mark in order to warrant a traffic signal. So as the note on the slide said and Jared said, we will continue to monitor that. As traffic increases, the warrants may be met and they may require additional improvements at that time. Shuttle to the beach. That's actually a really good idea. I think that we should talk to our folks at Bowman Park about that. Honestly, so if all those people that are going to the beach are getting there somehow right now, a more direct route may or may not affect the number of people, but there will be a more direct route. So as we have that separate conversation about things that are going on west of Manasota Beach Road, those are the type of really constructive ideas I think that'll help, maybe help improvements on how, if there is an increase in traffic onto West Manasota Beach Road, you can I agree on the turn lane from southbound 776 to westbound Manasota Beach Road. It's a mess. I'll ask our folks in the FDOT if they can make any improvements to that. Paul, do you know if there's a resurfacing project going on there or not? Okay. Speed limit mitigation. We can look at incorporating some speed feedback signs along the corridor. It is going to be posted at 30 miles an hour. 30 miles an hour. A lot of people don't travel that speed on these kinds of roads, so we can do some. Obviously, there will be increased enforcement from the sheriff and probably FHP and then the city of North Fork and their portion. 30 is on the entire stretch of Manasota Beach.
So the eastern extension portion will be 30 miles an hour. Actually, you're referring to the west, I'm assuming, is 40 miles an hour. Currently, there's no conversation about that portion.
Okay. That's in the city, so you have to talk to the city folks for that. No, the 40 mile an hour section is in the city.
No, it's unincorporated.
Oh, you talking west? I'm sorry. Yes, west of 776 is 40 miles an hour. That's actually something that we can take a look at in that conversation that we're talking about. I thought you were talking about getting that.
I was just gonna.
Yeah. Yes, definitely.
But when you lower the speed limit, then golf carts are okay.
Low-speed vehicles, whether what shape they are, yes, they would be okay at 35 miles an hour or less.
So then they are an issue.
He was trying to slip that in there, and then it didn't.
They wouldn't be on site.
They can't.
So right now, the low-speed vehicles can go on any road that's less than 35 miles an hour. They cannot be on a sidewalk or a lane.
Well, we don't have either.
Yeah, we don't have sidewalks.
Exactly.
So that means traffic's gonna be slow.
Even slower.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that is all the questions we have. Once again, thank you for your time. We will be out in the hallway for another 10 or 15 minutes or so. If you have any specific questions, thank you for your time and joining us for our public meeting.
Well, we included that. He called him out. Yeah, no, he's trying to switch it.
Yeah, right. Golf carts will not be allowed.
I'm gonna put signs on. You're okay, but you're not okay. But oh wait, you are okay.
If I get you to change the step thing, well, parking, I'll tell you that. I'll tell you that. Thanks for coming, dude. Drop your phone. Drop your phone.
Oh, thank you so much. So sweet. Thank you.
I'm like, this thing's like jamming the sterner.
Like Casey, no.
I just put a bunch of times in our files.
This is my husband, Chetty. This is my
Kelly. Say what you want to say?
Sure.
Is that cool? What's that?